Do you like mysteries? To wander through the enigmatic mist of the inexplicable? Great. I'm Merc, and here you'll find what you're looking for. Welcome to my domains. The truth dissolves into the mist.
In February of 2025, an anonymous Reddit account calling itself 3.8 million began posting something that should not exist. The images were ordinary selfies, faces close to the camera, blank expressions, but the metadata told a different story. In one photograph, the user stood inside a coffee shop in Tokyo. The timestamp embedded in the file showing March 15th at 2:17 p.m. In another post, uploaded minutes apart, he stood on a rainy street in London. The same date, the same time. Two cities, separated by nearly 6,000 miles. One man, present in both. The account offered no explanation, no cryptic manifesto. Only a single sentence beneath the first image, reading, "She is with me in both places. But she died 3 years ago." That woman, pale-faced and dark-eyed, appeared in every frame, standing beside him in Tokyo, holding an umbrella over his head in London. Identical in every detail. Reddit users quickly discovered that the woman in the photographs was real. Her name was Elena Marchetti, a 28-year-old art student from Bologna, Italy, and she had been pronounced dead in a hospital in Rome on January 17, 2022. The cause of death was listed as cardiac arrest following a traffic accident. Her body was identified by her mother, buried in a cemetery outside Bologna, grave number 847. Yet here she was, alive, frozen in digital files, standing next to a man who claimed to have traveled across continents in a single breath. The internet did what it always does. It dissected, analyzed, and theorized. But no one could explain the one detail that broke every rule of logic. The selfies were not edited. Forensic teams of amateur detectives ran error-level analysis, examined pixel consistency, checked for compression artifacts. Nothing. The images were untouched, original, direct from the camera sensor. And then the account posted a video, 23 seconds long, shot on a smartphone. The man held the camera at arm's length, spinning slowly to show his surroundings. A hotel room in Dubai, the Burj Khalifa visible through the window. The timestamp read March 16th, 7:43 a.m. Behind him, Alina sat on the edge of the bed, brushing her hair. She looked directly at the lens, smiled, and waved that same day. A groundskeeper at the cemetery in Bologna noticed something strange. The soil on grave 847 had been disturbed, not dug up, but pressed down from above, as if something heavy had been placed on it, then removed. He called the police. They found no body inside the coffin, only a thin layer of ash, still warm to the touch. What would you do if you received a message from the future telling you that everything you know is a lie? You are about to find out. The account known as 3.8 million did not stop posting. It began responding to comments, but only to users who asked very specific questions. Not how or why, but when. One user wrote, "What year are you from?" The account replied, 2028. Then the comment was deleted within seconds. But dozens of people had already taken screenshots 3 days later. The user who asked the question disappeared from Reddit. His profile deleted, his email address invalid, his phone number no longer in service. He was a 34-year-old graphic designer from São Paulo. His family reported him missing. He has never been found. The second photograph in the series showed something even stranger, a reflection. In the Tokyo selfie, the man stood in front of a large window. Behind his reflection, visible through the glass, was a second figure. Not Alina, someone else, a woman in a black coat, standing very still, holding a phone to her ear. That woman was later identified as Dr. Vivian Cross, a quantum physicist who had worked at CERN until 2021. She had resigned without explanation, left Geneva, and vanished from public life. Her last known address was an apartment in Prague. When journalists tracked down her former colleagues, they said only one thing. Dr. Cross had been investigating something called the 3.8 million millisecond anomaly, a glitch in particle collision data that lasted exactly 3.8 million milliseconds, roughly 1 hour and 3 minutes. During that hour, on January 17, 2022, something happened to the flow of time inside the Large Hadron Collider. The equipment recorded particles that appeared to exist in two places at once, a quantum superposition on a macroscopic scale. That should be impossible. But the data did not lie. The same date Elena Marchetti died in a Rome hospital. The same hour her heart stopped. Think about that for a moment. A woman dies. A particle accelerator records an anomaly. And 3 years later, that same woman appears in photographs taken in two cities at the same time, standing next to a man who claims to be from 2028. The account posted one final image before going silent for a week. It was a screenshot of a text message conversation. The contact name was Alina. The timestamp read January 17, 2022, 3:17 a.m. The message from Alina said, "I can see both cities from here. It's beautiful. Don't let them bury me." The response from the man, 3 minutes later, said, "I won't. I'll find you in the loop." Then the account disappeared. No new posts, no comments, no activity. For 7 days, the internet waited, argued, and feared. On the 8th day, a new post appeared. Not an image, not a video, but a single line of text. It said, "The loop is not time travel, it is geography, and you are all inside it." The phrase 3.8 million began appearing everywhere. On graffiti in Berlin, on bathroom walls in New York, on a billboard in Tokyo that no one claimed to have rented. Each time, the same number, written in the same handwritten font, as if copied from the original Reddit post. But the account had moved to a different platform, a dark web forum known for hosting whistleblowers and conspiracy theorists. The user posted a document, 47 pages long, titled "The Geography of the Loop." It claimed that what we call time is not a line, but a shape, a closed curve, folded through physical space. Certain locations on Earth, according to the document, are nodes where the curve touches itself. 2 points that are far apart in distance, but simultaneous in duration. The man from the photographs, whose real name was never confirmed, Allegedly, discovered one such node between Tokyo and London. He did not travel through time. He simply walked from one city to the other without moving, because at that specific node, the two cities occupied the same space. Elena Marchetti did not die. She stepped into the node on January 17, 2022, the exact moment of the CERN anomaly. Her body in Rome was a quantum duplicate, a shell left behind while her consciousness moved to the other side of the loop. The ash found in her coffin was not ash. It was a residue of collapsed probability, matter that had existed in two states at once until observation forced it to choose one. Dr. Vivian Cross, the physicist from CERN, resurfaced 3 weeks after the document was published. She gave a single interview to a small podcast, spoke for 12 minutes, and never spoke again. She said the 3.8 million millisecond anomaly was not a glitch, it was a door, and someone on the other side had been waiting for humanity to open it. When asked who, she said, "The dead who are not dead, the ones who live in the fold between cities. They have been sending messages for centuries, through doppelgangers, through ghosts, through the feeling of having been somewhere before. We just never knew how to read the data." The podcast host asked if the man from the Reddit account was real. Dr. Cross paused for a long time. Then she said, "He is real in Tokyo. He is real in London. He is not real anywhere else. That is what it means to live inside the loop." Beige. After that interview, the account 3.8 million posted one final piece of evidence. A photograph taken from a window looking down at a street. Two figures walked side by side, a man and a woman, their faces blurred. In the background, a street sign read Via del Corso, Rome. The timestamp on the photograph was January 17, 2025, exactly 3 years after Elena's death. The caption said, "She wanted to see her own grave." Within hours, users on multiple platforms identified the exact location. The photograph was taken from a hotel room overlooking Via del Corso, less than 2 miles from the hospital where Alina Marchetti had been pronounced dead. A journalist went to that hotel, showed the photograph to the front desk manager. The manager confirmed that the couple had checked into room 304 on January 16th, paid in cash, and left on the morning of January 18th. The registration book showed 2 names. The first was unreadable, a scribble of ink. The second was clear, Alina Marchetti. But here is where the story takes its most disturbing turn. The journalist checked the date of the hotel registration. It was not January 2025. It was January 2023, 2 years before the Reddit account existed, 2 years after Elena's death. Someone using her name had already checked into that room, paid with cash that could not be traced, and left without a digital footprint. The journalist requested security footage. The hotel manager said the hard drive containing footage from that month had been erased. Not damaged, not corrupted, but deliberately wiped clean using a military-grade data destruction tool. The same tool used by intelligence agencies to eliminate classified material. Let that sink in. Someone did not want that footage seen. Not a random hacker, not a privacy-conscious guest. Someone with resources, training, and a reason to keep the loop hidden. The Reddit account 3.8 million went silent after that photograph. No new posts, no messages, no document. But users who had been following the case began reporting strange occurrences in their own lives. One woman in Melbourne said she saw the man from the photograph standing in a train station, but when she blinked, he was gone. A truck driver in Texas claimed his GPS showed him in 2 places at once, his truck's location jumping between Dallas and Denver every few seconds. A teenager in Norway received a text message from her own phone number, reading, "You are not where you think you are." These reports have not been verified, but the pattern is undeniable. The more people learn about the 3.8 million anomaly, the more the world around them seems to flicker. Dr. Cross, in her final public statement, said this: "The loop does not break physics, it breaks perception. Once you know it exists, you start to see the seams, the double images, the misplaced memories, the moments when you could have sworn you were somewhere else. That is not your mind playing tricks. That is the loop folding." She was asked if the man and Elena could be found. She said, "You cannot find someone who is in 2 places at once. You can only wait for them to choose one, and they have not chosen yet. The account name, 3.8 million, is still active. The last login was April 2nd, 2025. No new posts, no replies, just the silent presence of an account that should not exist, attached to a user who cannot be traced, posting photographs of a dead woman who appears to be alive. The cemetery in Bologna has been closed to visitors since the empty coffin was discovered. The ground around grave 847 has been covered with a steel plate, welded shut. No explanation has been given. But locals say that at night, if you stand near the gate, you can sometimes see a light moving between the graves. Not a flashlight, not a phone screen. A pale, cold light, the color of a hospital ceiling at 3 a.m. Cut. And if you listen closely, some claim to hear two voices speaking in unison, the same words, the same tone, coming from two different directions at once. The question is not whether the loop is real. The question is whether you are already inside it, reading these words, while somewhere else, at the exact same moment, another version of you is reading something else. The account has not posted in weeks, but it has not deleted anything either. The photographs remain online, the metadata untouched, the mystery unresolved. Perhaps that is the answer. Not a hoax, not a conspiracy, but a door left slightly open, waiting for someone to walk through. The question is, who will be the first to step inside, and what will they find on the other side of the fold? The account's bio still reads the same 3 words it had on day 1. No explanation, no warning, no farewell. It says, "We are here, except, and for now, that is the only truth we have."
Did you like this mystery? And what is your theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed it, then like and share. I'm Merc, and I'll be waiting for you in the next mystery.